Frank Ragnow is out, and we have to talk about why this could derail the Lions season in 2025. Now, it's kind of being projected, speculated that Tate Ratledge could be the starting center who was drafted on day 2 of the 2025 NFL draft. He is typically played guard in his time at Georgia. No experience playing center, which is not really a position you want to throw a guy into, a rookie into that has not played center. Mm-hmm. Very rarely does that pan out. Very rarely have we seen positive results. Usually it's the opposite. Guy that played center in college, maybe they bump him to guard just because you already have a solidified center position. What are your thoughts on this situation and if it will hurt the Lions' abilities to run the ball and have a good offensive line this season?
This is a problem for them. This is a real deal problem. You do not want to lose a starting offensive lineman after the draft for any reason. Injury, retirement, trade, release, doesn't matter. You don't want to lose them because it's pretty hard to find them after a window of getting them is closed. So to lose not only an offensive lineman, but a center, and not just a center, but a Pro Bowl center and anchor heartbeat of the offense in Ragnow is brutal. You want to throw Graham Glasgow in there? Okay. Tate Ratledge? Okay. It's going to be worse. Not to their fault. They are guards. But to lose that guy, it's brutal because Jared Goff is a good quarterback. Mm-hmm. I'd say Frank Ragnow is a better quarterback of the offensive line than Jared Goff is. So now we're going to leave Jared Goff up to his own devices and going to leave Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery without a mean, hard-nosed, tough-as-all-shit center. That's not good. That is a bad look. And I know it's medical and he's probably hurt and he knew he couldn't go. Awful situation. Right. I'm certain if he knew that he couldn't go before the draft, he would have said something. And I think it just didn't progress. Whatever his injury was, didn't progress the way he wanted it to. He's cutting the cord.
I absolutely don't put any of this on Ragnow, as you just said. I don't think anyone is, but I think that it is legitimate for us to call into question expectations for what the Lions are going to be able to do this season. And I think that you put that really well. Timing's terrible. There is no way to find a solution here. Usually if you have like a roster problem, a health issue with a player or something, you could go and trade for a bad team's best receiver. You can go and trade for a bad team's starting quarterback, even running backs, defensive tackles. You're not going to be able to get a team starting center. Mm-hmm. And also, more importantly, most bad football teams that are willing to give up offensive linemen don't have good centers. It's one of the hardest positions in the NFL to find consistency and reliability. I think it's a problem to me because of the fact that they have this identity, this hard-nosed, physical, downhill identity that has been running the football. I think that losing him and also Kevin Zeitler in one season, kind of the thought was, hey, maybe Ratledge could plug in where Zeitler was. There is going to be a musical chairs that has to happen to figure out like the direction of what this team is going to look like, what this unit's going to look like. But I know you're laughing at what Danny said in the chat.
Laughed at.
I know you're laughing at what Danny said.
The same thing you did, where you're making a great point, and I'm just like giggling to myself.
I saw what Danny said, and I realized when I read that comment, what Danny said, I realized, that would not end well for me. It's not going to end well for me.
I'm rooting for it now. I'm rooting for it.
I'm not doing it now. I thought it would have been funny. Would have got a couple of laughs. Maybe would have got me a free drink. But now I realize would not have ended well. To get back to talking about football, which is what we're here for. Not me wearing a tiara out at the bars this weekend. Knowing what they do well, not having your starting center, and that starting center being at the minimum a top 3 center in the NFL, there's no positive outcome here. There's not. I would be stunned if there was an outcome where they got better. That it's not possible.
No. Can you picture that meeting room for the Detroit Lions offensive line? And you're kind of sitting in there watching film. The rookies are learning more. And you're like, oh, man, all right, Frank's not here today. And then you hear, fellas. And Dan Campbell comes in and is like breaking you the news. And he's got that big crazy eyes and that deep voice. And you're sitting there, young Tate Ratledge, like, oh, shit. This is not what I thought was going to happen here. This isn't good, because the offensive line room, it really doesn't get invaded by the head coach, because the head coach kind of lets the position be for the most part. He understands all the facets, and it needs to start with the offensive line, but he's got much bigger head cases to manage with the wide receivers, the quarterbacks, the DBs. He doesn't really need to get in on the big fellas because they're already working and they're churning, and they don't need any more shit piled on top of them. Him walking into that room, breaking that to them, I'd pay to see it, because I know how that would feel. Because whenever the head coach walked in our room, everyone tightened up a little bit, and it's a pretty relaxed room. Yeah. You know, you're making the sacrifices, you're never touching the ball, and you get a little leeway. The offensive line room always was a little more of a party than the other rooms. But this was not a party today. The Lions know they got worse.
I saw some people trying to make this comparison. I saw this. I don't forget who tweeted it, but there were multiple people who tried to make this reference. The last time a team, and I'm not saying this as Lions fans, you should be excited about it. I think that if you're making this rationale, you are coping. The last time a team lost their starting center, all-pro center, and both coordinators was the 2024 Philadelphia Eagles. This is not that same circumstance. It's not the same thing. Mm-mm. It's not. Mm. The Eagles have done a tremendous job of drafting and developing so that when J.C. Kelsey left, there was no misstep. There was none. There was none. They just kept going. If anything, they actually got maybe better without J.C. Kelsey this year, which they weren't as good as the tush push.
Yeah,
but they got better in some areas.
You win the Super Bowl year after. I'm not going to knock you.
I think that with the fact that this roster didn't really lose much else should provide a lot of optimism for Lions fans. Like that's something that you can hang your hat on, of knowing like, hey, we didn't get completely decimated by, most of our secondary leaving or a bunch of our receivers leaving. Like it's just the retirement of your starting center, a couple of ancillary pieces, and both coordinators. I have said this already. We already reacted to Aaron Glennon and Ben Johnson leaving. That to me is the biggest question mark. But now having to break in a new starting center and a new offensive coordinator on that side of the football, a lot of things making my head spin, which I don't love. I just don't like. I don't like having questions. If I have a question that I can find a solution to immediately, talking about a team going into a season, I can find reasons to believe that they're going to be fine. I don't have an answer for the question that we're asking right now. I don't. Do you have answer to this question of will they be fine? I don't. The answer is I don't know.
Yeah, it's very tough because you could ask that question and someone say, well, look at all the talent, and it's hard to ignore that amount of talent and not put them in the fine status. But these are big issues. Yeah. And my question for you, one, how much would Detroit have to pay to get Kelsey to play center for them? Or
no, stop it. I don't think he's in football shape. I don't think he looks small now.
How much money would he have to lose to have to get another 2 years back in the NFL?
I think you'd max get him 1 year. Come on, man. We can't.
He'd have to go broke. Okay, 1 year. He'd have to go broke, right?
See, one of the good things about when we do the show, we don't ask stupid talk radio questions.
Sure.
That was a stupid talk radio question.
I'm just wondering.
We don't have 2 hours to fill. You think that Jason Kelsey, who looks like he's lost weight since he was already small, he looks like he's like 265 right now.
He could tack it on. He could tack that on.
Would that be good weight?
No, it'd be Detroit pizza weight, which is nice because it's in a square.
Have you had Detroit pizza before?
Yeah.
I got in an argument with Mike Payton of A to Z Sports when we were at the Combine. I was giving him a hard time because he was trying to convince me that Detroit pizza was good. And I told him it didn't sound very appealing.
What? Oh, it's delicious. No, Detroit pizza is great because they crisp up the crust like a pan pizza. And then the corner pieces, you get double of that delicious crust. And the inside, square pizza, you think like lunchroom cafeteria pizza.
That's like the first thought that I have.
No, it's like...
It sounds better than Chicago pizza. I will say that much. It sounds like Chicago pizza sounds stupid. And I've tried it before. The concept is dumb. If you're from the East Coast, you're not touching Chicago pizza. I'd rather have Detroit pizza than I would eat Chicago pizza.
Agreed. I would take Chicago pizza in like the dead of winter. Like that's the only time it's acceptable to eat it.
You're eating cake. You're eating pizza cake.
The Detroit pizza, it's also much lighter. It's tall. It's as tall as a Chicago pizza, but the inside dough is light and fluffy. It's delicious.
Big pizza expert over here with the pizza hat on.
Yeah.
Did you take me to that spot, or is that a different spot?
No, I took you to Fascia Luna, which is now closed because I think the managers got too old. They were lifers. And
based on the quality of that pizza, it's probably better off that they're closed.
How about you go fuck yourself?
Oh, come
dude?
on. Oh,
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah. No. That's one. That's what I'm going to get shoot defensive about is Fascia Luna because it's the only true passable pizza in Northern Virginia.
Okay.
Tony's is pretty
that's
good
a
also.
problem if that's.
Oh no! Trust me, I know the woes of Northern Virginia cuisine. It's all okay. You get some places that are good, and there's not much that's going to wow you because there's so much transplants. There's not enough time for people to actually settle in. Fascia Luna settled in. That was an institution.
It was fine.
You didn't get their muscles. You didn't get the bruschetta. You didn't get a nice tall Peroni at the bar.
I'll never get a chance to.
You never will. And I'm
so
sorry.
I will die thinking that it was bad.
I'm not going to get hurtful now, okay? Because I've seen the pizza that's gone around New Jersey. It's good. But all your good pizza is out the way. How about you put some of the good spots up by the city? It's every. I'm not going to deny Jersey doesn't have walking distance. I'm not going to deny that Jersey doesn't have good pizza.
You can walk into any slice spot in Hoboken.
All the quote unquote great
10
spots.
Minutes away.
Did you say great slice? You calling Basil's a great slice?
It's one of the highest rate. It is a great. It's not as good as a slice that I get in New York. It's not the best slice in Hoboken. But I think it's a great slice. It gets the job done. I would eat that before I would.
Gets the job done does not qualify to great.
It's at least a 6.5.
Obi Toppin gets the job done. Is he a great player?
No, he's much better than the New Jersey pizza is a lot better than Obi Toppin.
Hold on. Danny Diaz, $2. Thank you for the super chat briefly. Nova Native, Luna's sucks. That's crazy, D-man. That is goddamn crazy.
So he's agreeing with me.
I don't know why he's calling it Luna's. I'm talking about Fascia Luna, Danny.
Okay, we're not here to yell about pizza, but I'm glad that Danny's supporting my take here. Thank you, Danny. Appreciate the super chat.
Punch you in the head.
Comment below if you're in the chat, by the way. Would you prefer Virginia pizza or New Jersey pizza?
New Jersey pizza is the answer. It's a good. Hey, good. We don't do hot take radio questions.
I'm trying to engage the audience here. Could you settle down over there?